A few months ago, I set myself a minigame challenge. I wanted to make a complex and over-engineered fishing game, and I had a few requirements. I wanted every action of the game to use the fishing rod. I wanted the player to end up with a fish that has a weight. I wanted there to be a chance for the fish to escape, so the game needed some sort of challenge. And I wanted the game to be complex, at least in the Redstone sense and the background mechanics. But I wanted it to be simple for the players to play and understand. So as you saw from the video in the intro, the redstone for the game has been built in survival, and I want to show you a playthrough. This is something I recorded a couple of days ago, but I'll talk over as I'm playing and I will explain each different section. So to begin with, in phase 1, we just have to catch something from this pool of water here. The target is just there so that you can aim for something and have the hook drop down into the water. And the glass in front of you is so that the item doesn't actually go into your inventory, but instead it drops down and triggers the start of the redstone mechanics. So there we go, the fish hits the glass, it falls down. There's a few seconds for the game to warm up and get ready. And then once the bell rings, the game has begun. Now here you can hear a guitar sound pulsing in the background. That is the speed of the fish, and that controls a few different things. When I show the redstone later, I'll explain that in more detail. But for this section, the weighing section, every time that guitar pulses and all of the lamps are turned off, the fish gets heavier. That's the point of this phase. You can't lose during this phase, but you want to turn the lamps off as quickly as possible so that you will end up with the heaviest fish possible. Now there is still some randomness in the fish weight, but essentially in this section, the faster you turn the lamps off and the luckier you get, the heavier the fish will be. And it's a little bit counterintuitive in you kind of want nothing to happen in this phase. And it lasts a minute, which is maybe too long, but it does raise the suspense building up to this section, phase 3. So this is the reeling section, and you can lose in this phase. What happens here is the lamps light up from top to bottom here, as you can see, and you need to have the pressure plate lighting the redstone lamp before the bottom copper lamp lights. So essentially it's kind of like Guitar Hero, where the note comes towards you and you want to be there ready to play the note before it hits. Now in this version only 2 of the towers were working, so it was very easy for me to win. But essentially if I failed, the fish would get further away. When I succeed, it gets closer. And now we have the final phase, which is very simple. I just have to catch the fish off the honey wall, and I have one chance to do so. If it lands on the ledge, you caught it, that is absolutely fine. And here you can see that the fish is a named item. I love to have named items in my games. I think it adds a certain charm. And this is the weight chest. So if you caught the fish, you can check in here and see the weight of the fish. We can see this one weighs 129 in total. And now I need to find the item in this chest here that is 129. We have the name formatting station add-on or plugin or whatever data pack it is on the server. And so I can then add my name and I can add the fish's weight to the fish that I caught. So I want every fish to kind of be unique to the person that caught it. Now here I am in replay mode. I'm actually just controlling the camera now because I think this might be a good way to show off the different redstone mechanics. And I'm going to try and be quick and just briefly mention each component because there are a lot of small components. I'm a big fan of showing off redstone though, because you never know, this individual mechanic here or this individual mechanic here might be useful to somebody making some project of their own. To begin with, this target block is not redstone. This just controls where the hook falls down. The item that is caught then goes into this hopper, which goes through this system here, activating the machine. These 4 droppers here contain the fish, and depending on which target block is down, will determine which type of fish you might see. And that is controlled by this daylight sensor magic over here. So the time of day determines the type of fish. The fish that is chosen then goes through these item filters. This will always send a pulse to this dispenser, which starts an arrow timer for phase 2. This also triggers the clock mechanism, and the speed of the clock is determined by which item filter the item passed through. So there are 5 speeds here with these 5 different types of wood. And as you can see here, the clock passes through the one which was selected. If this one was selected, it would be a shorter clock. If that one on the end was selected, it would be a longer clock. And this clock is used for both phase 2 and phase 3. In phase 2, the signal goes to these randomizers, which trigger these shulker box randomizers. Those send signals through this red coder here, and the signal here does 2 things. First of all, it triggers the lamps, and secondly, it lights this line here, which disables the weighing mechanism. This machine works with 2 droppers facing each other, so when one of these options is chosen, the dropper will empty, and the player must trigger the pressure plate to put the item back into that dropper. Now, I mentioned the weighing mechanism. This is a sequence of randomizers which determines random weight items as long as the connection is not cut by one of those lamps. So you may get an item worth 1, worth 10, or worth 100. And you can add those up at the end to determine your fish's total weight. Once phase 2 ends, this redstone block gets pushed, which activates the clock once again. But instead, the clock goes right here into this randomizer. This randomizer here has 4 choices, each choice leading to one of these mechanisms, where there is a chance this dropper will be triggered, and when the dropper is selected, that dispenses an item down this wall of honey. There is string here which gets observed, and those observers light up these lamps. Once the item reaches the bottom, it has a choice of 2 hoppers to go into, the success hopper and the fail hopper, and the one it chooses is based on whether or not the hook is in the pressure plate. If it is, the front success hopper unlocks and the back hopper locks, and this sends a success signal up the green line. If the player fails, the same thing happens but on the red line. And this controls these lamps here. This shows you how far away the fish is. If all lamps are lit, you have successfully reeled in the fish and have a chance to catch. If all the lamps are off, you lose. And as you can see here, the success line and the fail line simply connect up to 2 droppers, one of which has a comparator. Once the player lights the last lamp, a signal will carry through here, which dispenses the fish, and you have 1 chance to catch it. If you fail, the fish is taken by this redstone, and a signal comes through here, which drains the weight chest. Also, if you lose in phase 3, the redstone goes to the same line, draining the weight chest and also removing the fish. And finally, success or fail, we get a redstone signal down this wall, which resets these 2 targets, ready for the next game, and turns off the clock. Once I knew the redstone worked and was happy with the gameplay, it was time to work on the build itself. I knew that I wanted the whole of the redstone covered, and with it being such a large build, I decided to just build a box. I wanted a blue theme, but opted for the more purpley terracotta blues because I felt they matched the cyan teal colour scheme we had a little bit better. On top of the box, I tried to add these waves to make it a little bit more interesting, and I added this fishing rod pixel art and fish as well. So now anybody passing by knows what this game is about. Internally, I worked out the space for a few different rooms that we needed, and I'll take you on a tour through those shortly. And I also had to finish the ceiling in the game room, which definitely helps with the game itself, as the lamps are now more obvious. And finally, I made this sign on the front. I'm a huge fan of using these letter banners that don't have a border, but then putting concrete as the border behind them. I think it's a very clean look and makes the letters pop. So now let me take you inside and I'll show you the changes that we've made. We've got some books for people to read with lots of information. This is where we will have a gift shop. I've not finished that yet, but I do have exciting plans for it, which will tie into another minigame. Here we have the bounties, which we will add a bunch of bounties every now and then with gift shop tokens in them. That will be one of the ways that we get tokens for the gift shop. The other way, I've also added a token for every fish that you catch. So you'll get a few tokens for completing a bounty, but you'll passively get tokens as you catch fish. Now, if we come down these stairs, we have the lockers on the right, and here we can claim a sign, and then I have these two signs here where players can actually update their own statistics. So it's just a nice way for people to keep track of the fish they've caught, especially because people will be kind of storing their fish and using them in different ways across this game. So this is just a nice tidy way to always have that total. And similarly, it's nice to have a way to track the bounties that you've completed as well. Now, if you come to an unclaimed locker, everybody will get a fishing rod. I've given lure because it speeds up phase 1, and unbreaking and mending is enough to keep the rod healthy. Because fishing rods only have like 64 durability, you only need 3 or 4 bottles of enchanting to fully restore a rod. We also have this name tag. I want everybody to create a custom name tag. So you see here, I've made this one for me. People can add emojis and whatever they want to their own tags, as long as they put their name. And lastly, we have an achievements box, which I'll talk about the achievements shortly. And then we've got a chest. Players can store all of their fish in here, and we also have shulkers as well, because I feel like some people might get addicted to this. I'm slightly hoping some people get addicted to this. I want this to be a fun game. But now if we come over here, we can see we have the leaderboards area, and this has a book here for every possible fish that you can catch. There's 20 in total. And if we look here, we can see that I have caught a seaweed jellyfish that weighed 250. And if we look in the barrel here, here is my evidence. I want people to submit the fish that they catch in the barrel. If I catch a heavier seaweed jellyfish, I will come along, swap it out, and update the book. So it's like we have 20 scoreboards that players can compete. I think that's nice because some players who might not be as good at the game as other players, some might not play as often as other players, but they may still be the leader on 1 or 2 of the fish. And we will also have an overall leaderboard where players can put their heaviest fish. And if we come down here, this is the achievements section. So we have 5 categories of achievements, and there's 27 in total to collect, and that's why everybody gets an achievement shulker. So if we look in here, these are the achievements for catching fish. We've got some for different rarities of fish. One here for catching 3 in a row without failing. The weights here are fairly simple, over 100, over 200, over 270, and then anything over 270, that's why this is a special number, you need to create your own weight tag. So it's like 270 is the cap for what I consider a good fish. Anything above that is, it's an achievement. And then here we have over 500. I'm not sure anybody's going to get this. Not only do you need to play really well and play often, you need to be incredibly lucky to get some of those hundreds in the weight. So I think this is probably going to be the hardest one to get, but I haven't tested it that much, so maybe it's doable. I hope somebody does get it. Then we have the species ones, and this is where I've just kind of combined a couple of different fish together so that once you catch them both, you can complete the achievement. So these are kind of the different themes. For example, this one, don't click a sign. These are 2 fish that are actually made of dye. So it's like orange dye for the golden blobfish and blue dye for the sea slug. So it's just a silly little thing, but it's nice, you know, once you've caught a couple of fish, you might have completed one of these achievements. Then we have bounties, complete a bounty, 5 bounties, 10 bounties, 27, a chest of bounties. And lastly, we have the Pokédex. So this is for catching all of the different species, 5, 10, 50, and then 20. Currently, there's only 20 fish in the game. There is potential for me to change out the fish and add maybe seasonal ones later in the season. And then maybe we will add new advancements here. But, you know, 27 advancements, achievements, whatever word we want to use, that's a good number. So it will probably stay just as these. And now if we come down here, I have created a training area. So this is a place where people can test the different mechanics. So this is where you activate the pressure plate on top of the lamps in phase 2. This is where you need to activate the pressure plates here. This is not really the reason I built this room. The reason I built this room is for the final phase. So you only get one chance to catch the fish off the honey wall, and the pressure's on, you don't get to practice it. It's not like this where you will get better at the mechanics very quickly. So I wanted a place where people can come along, dispense an item against the wall, and try and and fail to get it. You see why we need to practice? There we go. And one last little thing, I had a bit of space here, so I added a reaction testing thing. This is just something that, you know, there's nothing you want to do here. It's just a way to kind of train your reactions. There's a randomizer here, a 1 in 9 chance on that clock, and then whenever the lamp lights, you want to react as quickly as possible. I don't think this is actually useful, it's just a fun little thing. Now, as you probably know, every episode we do what we call the Colourlympics, where we have 8 colours face off against each other in a variety of different ways, usually the farms that we make. But today, I want to fish. I want to play this game. So we have our 8 teams here, and what I want to do is I want to catch 1 fish for each colour, or try to catch 1 fish for each colour. And this will simply be the heaviest fish wins. So let's determine the order of the fish. There we go. So this is the order we will be going in. Orange will be up first. We will catch 8 fish, and then we will see which colour has reigned supreme in this game. Now there's no bias. I am not cheering for any team. I will be trying my best for all 8 of the colours. So let's begin. And there we go, the redstone should start. We see phase 3 resetting, and then we get the sound. And players may realise over time that the sound of that guitar is maybe a slightly different speed for some fish. And that is one of the mechanics that we talked about earlier, where we have that clock that spins around. So this, definitely not the slowest fish. This is maybe a medium fish, maybe slightly faster than that. Because you never have like the different rhythms back to back, it's actually quite difficult to compare, you know, between one round and another. So I don't think people will always know which speed they've got. They'll just kind of have a general feeling, you know. Okay, phase 3. And this phase is definitely easier now that we've added extra lamps at the top. So you get a flicker first, then you get the sound. That was really important feedback that we got, because people would hear the sound, see no lamps, and then turn around, and then have to turn around again because it was actually on the side that they were facing. Bit of an oversight in the design, but oh, I missed the pressure plate. Yeah, bit of an oversight in the design, So we added this lamp, which lights up first before the item is dispensed into the redstone. Now, I think this phase feels quite easy to me. Oh, we've just got through. But I want lots of players to be able to succeed at this game. Okay, let's focus. Did we get it? We got it. So there we go. We got a sockfish, and let's see the weight. So no hundreds, unfortunately, even though we've got 31 items. But that is 16, 160 plus 15, which is 175. That is a respectable score. And we got a gift shop token, which is nice. So that is 175. Let's go through this. I did colour some of these as well. So the different weights, I think the first 100 are grey, and then we've got the white weights, then we've got yellow above 200, and then above 250, you leave it default, which does not show as white as law. It actually shows as purple. So grey, white, yellow, and purple are the different weight tiers. So at a glance, when you look at your fish, you'll be able to see if it was a heavy one. Now we do have bottles of enchanting because we'll need these to do the format name. And I won't show you this for everyone, but let's just do it for this one. So we offhand to law the weight, and we offhand to law our name tag. If we made a mistake, we can remove the law. This format name mod is fantastic. I think it's really usable. And there we go. We put the weight back. We put the weight items in the barrel. This is empty, so we are ready to catch our next fish. And if we go in here, we can give the sockfish to the orange team. I think that's a respectable start, 175. I think that could be top 3. I don't think it's going to be the winner, but it's a decent attempt. Next up, we have the green team. Now it's raining. Will that give them some good luck? Oh good, I need name tags. Oh, this is definitely slower than that last one. Which is interesting, and this is one of the kind of complexities in the background. A slower fish means you will probably get less weight items in total, but also the lamps will light less often, which means you will get more weight items. So that honestly might balance itself out. I'm not sure whether you want one like this, where it takes a long time for the lamps to light, or whether you would want a fast fish with a faster clock, but you have to spend a lot of time turning the lamps off. But yeah, I think I want to describe this game as being relaxing but suspenseful. So you will feel quite tense as you're playing it. But like we noticed there, it's still quite a relaxing game. Perhaps not this phase, but that's a very good start. Oh, we got 5 in a row. Fantastic. Right, here we go. And we got the leaf fish. Nice one. A green fish for the green team. Very appropriate. And let's check the weight. Wow. What on earth? Okay, so that kind of answers my question earlier. I think maybe the slower fish are arguably better. Although we only got slightly more items than we did last time. But this is insane. So that's 300, 430, 448. Wow. Okay, I think that achievement to get a 500 weight fish is viable now that I've seen this. Very lucky to get 300s, but, you know, luck is a big part of the game. So this is where we need to make our own custom tag here. So 448. So there we go. Let's reorder these. We will put lime in first position because 448 is significantly heavier than 175. I'm skeptical that this is a good score now. And next up we have cyan. It's still raining, so maybe that luck will continue for cyan. Oh, this is a good test. So this is a faster fish. If we can keep on top of these lamps, I think we might be able to get more than the 34 items that we got in the weight chest last time. Although, that was slow. Okay, good. I'm thinking this is adding up. Now, this phase is probably going to be a challenge. Do we get both of those? What happened with this one? Huh. Oh, it ended up locked in the winning hopper. That's the only kind of downside with this this phase of the game. Because we use locking hoppers as the main mechanism, we do have this trouble where sometimes an item will stay in there for a little bit. Oh, did we get it? We got it. One of my favourite items here, we got Medusa's pet fish. And we got a purple name as well, so that was one of the achievements that we've just completed. And now, this is a big kind of gameplay test for me. I want to see if there's more than 34 items in this chest. Because there were long periods of time where none of the lamps were lit, so I'm hopeful that this was better than the last round, at least total amount. Yes! Wow! Okay, I'm happy with this, because I do feel like if you do well with a faster fish, you should be rewarded. So, obviously not as many hundreds, which is, you know, that's part of the luck, and more ones than tens, that's also quite unlucky, but this is still a great fish, a really great fish. So this is 370, so that's 399. And that puts cyan into second place for now. Take a look at the durability on that rod. One bottle of enchanting nearly healed it to full. But next up we have purple. We're still fishing in the rain, which at least speeds along this first section. Now again, quite a slow one. Although, I'm really glad that there's like multiple layers of randomness in this game, because even a slow fish might have a difficult phase 2 or a phase 3. It's not going to be predictable. You know, I don't want someone to hear the slow rhythm and think, well, I've got it in the bag, this is going to be easy as anything. I still really love that randomness. And that was a very easy phase 3. Let's see if we can catch the fish. Oh, we got another sockfish. I'm glad I've caught them all so far. I'm worried there's going to be one later on where I fail. But let's see the weight for the purple team. Okay, incredibly unlucky. But at least this is easier to add up. This is a score of 109, which means we can just grab it from here. And there we go, and unfortunately, you will stay in this position. Now, it's interesting that the two worst fish are the same type of fish. I did kind of want that kind of mechanic to develop. That's one of the reasons that I have a different leaderboard for every type of fish, because I think some fish are inherently going to be heavier than others. That was the point of this. Now, do players know which fish are heavier than the others? No. I want that to be kind of one of those background mechanics that players have to learn through experience. Next up, we have the red team. Once again, a very slow fish. Quite a lot of lamps lit at the end there. That was good. And that should be the last one. Yeah. Oh, did we catch it? We did. And we got another seaweed jellyfish. Now, my heaviest seaweed jellyfish is 250. I've actually caught 2 of them so far. So let's see if the red team did any better than that. Ooh, that is unfortunate. So that makes sense because it was a slow fish, but we actually had quite a lot of lamps light during that one. So unfortunately, they have only scored 91. And puts them in last place. So top 3 at the moment is orange, cyan and green, but there's still 3 colours to go. So blue is up next. Oh, one thing, if there's lamps lit like that, you should turn them off before you begin. That was a blunder on my part, and I apologise to the blue team. Oh, I'm failing miserably. Oh dear. Blue fans, please ignore this. At least that wasn't cyan. The audience will be mad at me. I'd say a medium speed for this one. So we could do quite well. Here we go. And we caught it. It's another sockfish. Now, is this heavier than the other 2? Remember, we got one at 109, one at 175. And this looks promising. We've got 100, we've got 70 here, and 21. So that is 191. Which puts blue up into 3rd place. Miles behind 2nd. These 2 are probably going to be unbeatable. Or will they be? Next up, we have yellow, and we will finish with pink. That's a slow one. A very quiet phase 2. So I'm expecting an easy phase 3. Though sometimes I find with the slower fish, you can kind of lose your focus a little bit in this phase. But that was the easiest one so far. Oh, did we get it? Oh, and it's a new fish. We got a cubic jellyfish. And what are we looking for with the weight? Remember, we want to be 191. And that is not going to cut it. That is 139. Which puts yellow into a respectable 5th place. And now it's time for the final fish. it's a fast one. We get to end on an exciting one. Will we be able to keep all the lamps off? Oh, you know it's bad when they're playing chords. Okay, that was tough. I don't think we did very well there. Now can we catch the final fish? Sure hope so. And we did. And it's another Medusa's pet fish. So last time that was a very heavy fish for the Cyan team. But let's see if we perform similarly here. And we did. So this is 280. So that is 315. And that will put the pink team up into third position. Again, we're already seeing some kind of trends here with the different types of fish, which I'm more than happy to see. And so here is the final result. Green gets gold, cyan gets silver, and pink gets bronze. This was a fun one for me to do. If you enjoyed it, please let me know, because I'd love to play this game some more. But now let's check how that has affected the overall scores. So here are the scores before this episode, and here are the changes. Even with pink getting a point for bronze place, they have moved down to 4th. That has also nudged yellow down to 5th. Cyan has come from 7th to joint 6th. Purple is really getting left in the dust here. And we've had an insane jump from the green team, going from 5th to joint 2nd. Now, I must remind you, they were in last place for so long during this competition. So it goes to show it's all to play for and anybody can win. And now let's head on over to the Connections game. But before we go into the Connections game, just a quick mention of my Discord. I've started a puzzles channel where every weekend I will release 2 little puzzles. So we've had crosswords, we've had Wordle inspired things, we did a jigsaw, and there's lots more to come. But now let's take a look at the puzzle from the last episode. The first category is quite a simple one. We have lapis, sea pickles, wither roses, and beetroot, and these are all ways of getting dyes. Then we have diamond, redstone, emerald, and coal, and these are minerals. The trick here is that we also included lapis, so it helped to figure this one out first. Then we have fire coral, bucket of water, air, and Minecraft earth, and these contain one of the 4 elements: air, water, fire, and earth. And finally, leggings, rabbit's foot, armadillo, and brain coral. This is one of my favourite categories. These are item names that include body parts: arm, brain, leg, and foot. Now here we have the puzzle for this episode. As always, it is in the description. Please give it a go and let me know how you do. And the clues are wither rose, glass, emeralds, cactus, pufferfish, gravel, cod, salmon, water, wool, concrete, fire, tropical fish, campfire, fishing rod, and clay. Good luck. Now that's it for today's episode. I'm actually opening this game in about an hour, so I'll be able to get some people on. We'll play the game. We'll see how it goes. I think next episode we'll touch on this game because I will be making a separate game that will tie into the gift shop here. But thanks a lot for watching and take care.